Hey everybody, I'm Joe Kellinger. I'm a real estate investor and entrepreneur, and we put these videos together every week to give you all the tips and insights from my experience over the last several years. So make sure you tune in and subscribe, and thank you. Thank you for tuning in today. I've got a really great topic that I think you're going to find very interesting, especially if you're a real estate agent, and that's the exclusive representation agreement. You're going to find that in different states, there's different ways that the agents do it. So I asked a commercial real estate agent from Los Angeles, Sturai. You guys have probably seen Sturai a few times. She's one of my definite go-tos. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
So, exclusive representation agreement.
Yes. I'm a big fan.
You are a big fan. Okay.
I am.
Because see, there's some I've talked to some of the agents around the country, and they won't walk over the threshold of their office. They won't leave until that's signed. Mm-hmm. Now, I see in Southern California, sometimes you guys will go out and do an initial meeting, and then ask them to sign it. What do you do?
Yes, I typically do have that signed and mutually signed it with the client pretty early stages.
Okay.
But everybody's different, and there's all these different things to kind of take into consideration if you are the tenant or the buyer that is entering the exclusive representation, or if you're the agent. So when it comes to the client, typically they might be reaching out to you for the first time, and this is initial conversations, and for the tenant to feel comfortable,
right,
they really kind of need to ask all the necessary questions in terms of getting to know the representative and feel really comfortable and find out about the company and their capabilities and things like that, because a lot of that helps when it comes to the exclusive representation agreement. Because I think typically the hesitation is the trust.
You mean hesitation from the buyer or tenant? From
the buyer and the tenant.
Okay.
It's trusting that you're signing in a way a document, right, and
that locks you just into that one agent. What if they don't perform?
Exactly.
How do you overcome that?
I think it's understanding, having that conversation and accepting that reality that that tenant might have previously had a negative experience. I just had this conversation yesterday with a new client, and they were coming off from working with a previous agent that they didn't feel like was very active in terms of presenting them options, and they just didn't feel like any of the work with that agent went anywhere. So they were really hesitant into entering an exclusive representation with a brand new agent. So,
but there's a way out of that exclusive representation.
Absolutely.
Correct? So, what is yours? How is yours worded?
So mine, the way it's worded, it's a combination of having a conversation when you feel like your needs aren't being met, and within a specific period that you mutually feel comfortable, and we would enter a written agreement to basically get null and void the representation,
right,
and step away from it. But what
legally? Let's say if you become angry with each other, and legally you've got them locked in. What legally can the buyer or the tenant, potential tenant, what is their legal recourse? Just say, here's 30 days notice or 60 days notice. Is that what you have? Okay, yes. And then the relationship.
Yes, exactly. So the specified days, in my case, I've had it as low as 15 days or 30 days. And what I let the client know that a lot of this is, in my case, is customizable. I do have a conversation with them, and there is tweaks of language that and timelines or regions and things like that comes into play from the exclusive representation, and we apply that. to a level where I feel comfortable and the client feels comfortable, and we're able to proceed.
Okay. Now, when that relationship is over with, you just send them a list of properties and that you've shown them, and then if
Yes.
you're procuring cause on those, then
Exactly.
Okay.
So from an agent perspective, there is language, and once again, like I said, exclusive representations can be really customizable, but in terms of what I have it is, there is protection for the properties that I've shared with them, and we've mutually reviewed and considered. There is a period of time that I am protected should they enter into any kind of a purchase or lease agreement with those properties.
okay, with those properties that you specified on your contract.
Exactly, and
Okay.
upon voiding of that exclusive representation, I would be providing them a list of those properties.
Well, I understand why an agent wants to do it, because they know there's a better chance they're going to get paid at the end, right? You know, they're going to go out and do the work, or you guys are going to go out and do your work, and you know, the buyer or tenant is not going to go to somebody else. Now, as a buyer or tenant, it's, and I know a lot of them are really hesitant to sign this, but I think there needs to be an understanding why, as a buyer tenant, you want to do this. Is, you know, if an agent knows that they're going to actually be getting a better chance to get paid, they're going to work hard for you, most of them. I mean, obviously you want to have your out clause,
Yes.
but you also want to know that this individual will work a lot harder. If you're out there going out and looking for having 5 brokers look at the same asset classes in the same areas, they're going to run into each other and they're going to find out, and then nobody's going to want to work with you. And so it's just something that I see from my perspective, that I can see it's a win-win for both the agents and the buyers and tenants.
Yes, I think it's a great tool to use. Whether you are the tenant and representative, I feel like if anything, you should insist on it. And from an agent perspective, I think you should take it seriously, because also entering an exclusive representation agreement, you are accepting that client as on a legal level. So when it comes to from an agent perspective, you really want to make sure that you truly are able to serve the client and their needs within their specified time and requirements, and truly put an effort. So it is not something that is lightly entered. I do enter it on clients that I am fully accepted in entering, and we've had a lot of conversations in terms of timelines, performance, market, and a lot of that information. So I personally do take it very seriously, because I'm saying I exclusively represent you. I owe you a fiduciary duty to serve you within legal parameters and for, you know, objectives of outcomes being met. And then from a client, from a tenant or a buyer perspective, I think it's important to enter it when you have agents reaching out to property owners or other agents on your behalf, when they're able to state that they exclusively represent you, that gives a stronger strength when it comes to presenting offers, because then you don't have the landlord or the property owner being concerned that there's going to be multiple claims of commissions later on, or you have multiple agents reach out for the same property for the same client. It all of a sudden raises certain flags.
Red flags.
Exactly. Yeah. Certain red flags of just caution. Maybe it's not necessarily always a negative thing, but they're looking at it, okay, so they're not working exclusively with someone. Why is it not exclusively with someone? And it's like this entire market of multiple people reaching out. Is it an issue of finances, or if it's an issue of the brand and things like that? It just raises concerns.
Yeah, I mean, I see, and you hear in Southern California, that it's these are taken as negative. And, you know, other places in the country, they're positive. Like, they've got a serious client, got a serious agent, they're going out and getting these deals done. So I really thought it was critical to do this video because, these aren't meant to be a negative, anything bad to be signing one of these contracts. It's best for you as an agent and you as a buyer or a tenant. You're looking for tenant representation.
Yeah.
So.
And the thing is that it can be limited from geographical location perspective, or it can be limited based on time, a specific property type or property range and price range. So there are additional specifications that can be added to the agreement if it is a larger brand that deals with multiple uses or multiple areas and regions of the state or the country, and they want to work with someone but not for the entire brand. Maybe they would like to work with one agent within an LA area only for their industrial, as far as their manufacturing distribution needs, so they can enter that. They can specify those details within the agreement, and for a specific period of time too. So there's a lot of those kind of additional details that can be placed in to make the agent and the client feel comfortable.
But as you're getting these agreements, make sure you have your attorney look at it, make sure it's fair for everybody. So Sturai, thank you very much for coming in today.
Yeah, thank you.
Just actually, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what you do, the markets you serve. You've taken the time to do this. We should let them all know.
Yes, I've had the joy of working throughout Los Angeles, central Los Angeles, as well as West Side. I mostly focus on asset sales for investments, as well as, of course, wonderful tenant representation. I've worked with certain brands that are looking to expand to multiple locations, and this exclusive representation has been very important in that process. My contact information will be listed. Feel free to reach out if you have questions about this agreement or any other topics or anything else you'd like us to cover. Be sure to subscribe and follow this awesome channel for more fun content.
I don't know why I'm here. I really don't. Anyway, what she said. And so yes, do please subscribe. And thank you for tuning in, and tune in next week. We'll have another great video for you.
Thank you, everybody.